All right, everybody. How's it going? That's right. We got a game tomorrow. We got a game in about 28 hours from the time of this upload. And, we got to play it. As fans, we probably have to watch it, although maybe you as a fan are now at the point where you're not even really feeling like you want to watch Seahawks football. And maybe some of you guys are going to tap out, say, yeah, it's the holidays. I'm going to go. It might snow this weekend. Maybe you'll go play in the snow. I don't know, but I can't quit this team, right? Like, no matter how good or how bad they are, no matter the way in which they are good or the way in which they're bad, I want to see it. I want to see if things change. I want to see if things get better. So, at the end of the day, no matter how much we may express our disappointment, no matter how much we may complain about the direction of this team, most of us are locked in on game day to see what's up. And look, this weekend, I think we're going to beat the Bears. I think we can beat Chicago at home. I know it might actually snow at the stadium, which obviously introduces some possibly unforeseen factors. But I I think this is the kind of game where the Seahawks show up, do enough things well to win, probably look decent in the process, and the Seahawks fans with short memories are going to look at that and go, "Ooh, are we turning the corner here? Are we springing to life here?" Because if you're going to be straight honest, our little two-game winning streak, we did play fairly well. One of those games was against a decent team, and against the Rams, most of the team played well. Most of the team looked at least decent. So don't don't fall for it is what I'm going to say. Don't bite down too hard into anything juicy that comes out of this game, but nevertheless, this is an opportunity for us to kind of have a little preseason at the end of the season where we're trying to figure out what we got going forward. We have an off season that's probably going to introduce some change. Some team's going to get out. Something new is going to come in. We don't know where. Could it be quarterback, head coach, coordinators, GM? We don't know. But something's going to change this offseason for sure. I think Jody Allen has basically promised us that, and a guaranteed losing season is probably going to force her hand. So, even though a lot of the interest in this season has expired, there's still some stuff to watch for, and we got to try to find what we're going to pay attention to. So, I'll be honest. If you're still trying to figure out the Russell Wilson stuff, if you're still trying to use these last three games as an evaluation period, then you're doing it without me being a part of it, because I kind of feel like the question has already been answered for me. I needed something better in that Rams game period, and I know it's just one game, but it's also not just one game. It was a game with your season on the line against a division rival where your $35 million quarterback has to carry, and he did the opposite of carry. He got carried. If anything, he got carried by the defense. He in some ways he got carried by the running game. So I feel like that question has already been answered. Um, Granted, this season was a little bit of a there were some messed up things this year, right? There was some stuff with this season that got out of hand, with Wilson getting hurt and then coming back when he wasn't 100%. It really threw a monkey wrench into our evaluation, but bottom line is sometimes things are not going to be perfect, and for that game, for that moment to produce that result, I feel like I'm good now. I I know he can still be a good quarterback. I know he has a chance to go somewhere else and be good again, and be the quarterback that we remember from a few years ago. But I can't make that bet with the state of this with the of the Seahawks franchise, and the evidence that he's given me this season has been so. I'll call it mixed, because there have been some good moments, but for me personally, I feel like the writing is already on the wall. So I'm not really watching that anymore. If he plays good, then cool, I guess. He boosts his trade value. but I kind of feel like we already have our answer. So I'm going to keep an eye on things like Jake Curhan because that development it's a happy accident that we've been waiting for in Seattle. We needed something unexpected to go our way. And if Jake Curhan can prove to be at least a great backup, if not a good starter, that is a very happy accident that this team deserves right now. We got Dwayne Eskridge out there, basically a non-factor as a rookie. Trey Brown tore his, what was it, patella tendon. So we need some happy accidents. And guys like Jake Curhan are going to be happy accidents, so I want to see how he plays in this game. If he continues to play well these last 3 games, then that's at least something to bite into. And I'd love to see Stone Forsythe out there, but that's probably not going to happen because it's Carroll's in charge. So I'm mostly on offense, keeping an eye on Curhan. Beyond that, on offense, DJ Dallas. I know DJ Dallas is never going to be some 1,300-yard rusher or some dominant Pro Bowl back, but he may have a place in the NFL. He's already a decent special teamer, a competent special teamer, but if he can be somebody who can be a 4th string running back, a 3rd string running back, even a 2nd string running back, and hold his own, somebody who can at least improve a little bit as a blocker, now you're talking. Now you've got a little bit of something going on here in a running back room that desperately needs an overhaul this offseason because Carson almost certainly going to retire at this point, I believe, and Penny, I'll say it again, we may bring him back, and if we do, so be it, but just let it be known that you cannot depend on him for anything because he's so delicate. So I'm keeping an eye on a guy like a DJ Dallas. Honestly, the offense, most of that stuff is just I'm good with it. I already kind of know. I already kind of feel like I know what it is and where it's going. Like I know Lockett's good. I know Metcalf's good. I know I don't know what Eskridge is, but I know he's going to be here next year anyway, so it doesn't make that big of a difference. Maybe a guy like a Gerald Everett. I kind of feel like Everett should be brought back regardless of what we see here, so I'm not really evaluating him. I know he's good. I know what Shell is. I know what Gabe Jackson is. I know that Damian Lewis doesn't really look good right now because he's playing out of position. So offensively, there were just a few things I'm really going to try to focus on in this game. Now, all that being said, I'm a Seahawks fan. I want this team to win. I want this team to look good. It does occur to me that a loss at home to the Bears in late December could be the perfect remedy for any thoughts in Jody Allen's mind of keeping Carroll around next year. However, I don't think that's enough for me to actually actively root against the team. If they lose, they lose, and I'll deal with that if it happens. But just because I'm saying I'm keeping my focus on these very narrow things does not change the fact that I do want Wilson to go out there and play well. I do want Metcalf to go out there and destroy the Bears secondary. I do want the offensive line to hold up against what should be a very good Bears front. I know they don't have Mac, but they got Roquan Smith. He's having a really good year. They got Akeem Hicks still. They got Robert Quinn, who's having an all-pro type year, regardless of if he makes it or not. And Bruce Irvin, our old friend. So I want to see. I want to see. And by the way, I think that Robert Quinn will be lining up against Jake Curhan. That is a great test for him. And it kind of puts him in a way at an advantage because if he plays bad, then it's Robert Quinn. I get it. But if he plays good, then holy crap, we have something. This defense, I don't know exactly what to say about the defense either because so much of this stuff I feel like I've already seen what I need to see, right? Like Jordan Brooks, I don't know if Jordan Brooks is ever going to be great. But I've seen enough to where I feel like he's going to be good. Obviously, the experience of playing in more games is going to help. Him playing 100% of the snaps in these games is going to help. But it's not like Jordan Brooks is a maybe player this offseason. Like, he's going to be here next year 100%. And DJ Reed and Sidney Jones, we still don't know if DJ Reed's going to play or not. To me, their role with the future of this team is completely dependent on if Carroll comes back because DJ Reed and Sidney Jones were basically designed in a laboratory to play in Carroll's D. So if Carroll leaves, they should probably leave as well. If he stays, at least Sidney Jones should stay, definitely. And if DJ Reed can be had for a reasonable price, him too. So I want to see those guys play well. I want to see us have something to believe in going forward. But I also know that I want Carroll gone. And if I want Carroll gone, then I can't really want DJ Reed and Sidney Jones back because they have a particular skill set that fits well with Carroll and probably wouldn't fit in well with anything else we try to do. And I also think that moving on from Carroll's defense and implementing like a 3-4 is key to unlocking the potential of Jamal Adams. So I even something like that. Of course, I want to keep an eye on Sidney Jones because I am aware of the possibility that Carroll is back next year. But there's also a part of me that's kind of like, I don't want to get too attached to this and start acting like keeping Sidney Jones and DJ Reed is more important than getting rid of Carroll for me. But it is a realistic possibility. Darrell Taylor, of course you want to see good things from Taylor. He's had a good year. He's doubtlessly had a very productive, good, effective year. It's not like I'm going to say, oh, we should cut this dude if he doesn't play well the next 3 games, but he has a shot at the franchise rookie record for sacks, I think. He needs to turn it up a little bit, but he has a shot at it, so I want to see Taylor make some plays. Dunlap is interesting because he's going to be due some serious money next year, even if he's cut, so if he can play well these last few games and give us something to hold on to in terms of keeping him next year, then I think that's valuable. A guy like if Brian Monet is able to play, I don't know what his status is exactly yet, but he's a guy who could be part of a defensive tackle rotation. And those are most of the key things that I'm keeping an eye on. It's just these little things that could go one way or the other based off what we see in the next few games. And there aren't a ton of them at this point. That Bears offense, it looks like they're going to have Nick Foles. It's not a very good offense. They're actually, I think, ranked a little worse than us. Now, granted, they haven't had Nick Foles. They've had Fields and Dalton, but Foles is a third-string quarterback for a reason. That being said, he is the kind of quarterback who could probably have some success on this defense like a Colt McCoy. Now, he doesn't have the mobility of even a Colt McCoy, I don't think. Colt McCoy was a little bit of a threat with his legs. I don't think that Nick Foles is at all, really. But Nick Foles has had some NFL success, so it would not surprise me if he at least racks up some yards. He's going to move the ball a little bit. It could result in points. But I do think this defense is going to get it done. They keep on overachieving every week, it feels like. Somehow, some way, you look up at the end of the game and you're like, oh, this defense has given up 17 points with no support from the offense. They've given up 13 points. You can't really be too mad at them for anything this season. And given where we started, I can't believe we're here right now. But I do think in this matchup you are going to see another good defensive game. Hopefully we can get some turnovers because Foles will give you some opportunities to take the ball away. Quandre Diggs could make an all-pro push if he keeps getting interceptions. At this point, interceptions that he makes are just driving up his value, but I'll be honest, as much as I like Diggs, I don't really want to bring him back next year because I don't want to invest that money into safety. However, I can root for him. I can root for him to do well because I like him and he seems like a good guy. So hopefully Diggs can continue to grind. This is a great opportunity for him to make a couple more plays in the snow. And that's really all I can say for this one, guys. I feel like a huge portion of our story this year has been written already. Like this chapter of the Seahawks, the 2021 Seattle Seahawks, I feel like it's already fairly well defined, but these little things that could go one way or the other, that's where my focus is. And it is, we are in kind of a weird position with us. A lot of us want Carroll gone. Not all of us, but a lot of us want Carroll gone. But I think a lot of us as fans cannot bring ourselves to root for the team to lose. So that might be the most interesting thing going into this game. As a fan, what do you want? What do you want from this matchup against a pretty bad Bears team at home? And I'm going to continue to say what I say. I don't want to root for this team to lose. That's not my style. But it is an interesting discussion to have. That's really all I got for this game. I expect to win probably something like 21-13, something like that. I think we will find a way to get it done. Nothing would surprise me at this point, but honestly, I got to be honest. The Seahawks have been playing pretty decent football lately, so I'm not going to sit here and act like they're the worst team in the league when they're hanging tough with a team like the Rams with the refs against them. So we should be able to win this one, I think. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks.